All right, good morning. We got part of the farm cleaned up last night. We worked till about 7. Me and Pop got it done. There's my beanie. I've been looking all over for this thing. I'll probably forget that I left it there too. I'm working on the planter again. I didn't get much done because I had to go do that. So, found a couple more things. I fixed all the no-till caulkers, got them lined up with the openers last night. I did get that, managed to get that done, got everything going good. Then I got called to go over there to the other farm. Right now we are going around and adjusting all these so they're tight. My brother did them yesterday. I want them just so they'll turn with a little bit of force. He got most of them done, and then he went over on the loader. We did find one that had a bad bearing. And the good thing about these bearings are, this is what they look like when they're out. That's the inside, and then this plate goes like that. Bearing goes in here. So that's the bad bearing. And this is the new bearing. And you just push it, put it in there like and she's tapped, and then when you put it on it'll pull it tighter. But it seemed like on this planter, wherever they had difficulty, they just didn't even fix it. There was 4 or 5 rows that were out of whack, and it seemed like because they had let fertilizer drip down on it and it was hard to get the bolts out and stuff like that, that they just kind of said screw it and left it. And that ain't how I work. You know, the planter is actually, it's a really good shaped planter. I think they kept it in a manure shed, and the weather, you know, the cold damp air that comes through, because the manure shed around here is not closed in. We keep all our stuff in a shop across the way that, you know, it's got doors on it. We don't want expensive, especially planters sitting out. You know, planters, combines, well, we don't let anything sit out, but mainly planters and combines. So but for the most part, I've got her pretty much right. It took me to do it, but I got her. As you can see, the rows that were bad, they weren't bad, they just weren't adjusted. Because right here, you can see I had to cut the bolts out. I put new bolts in for the hangers. The bolts were completely rusted, and I think that's why they never worried about fixing it to get it straight, because it was harder to do it than they wanted to do. Excuse me. But I don't roll like that, so I went ahead and I had to actually take the torch and cut the bolts out on several of them and got them lined up, put new bolts in. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, put new bolts in and got everything adjusted so it's all even with the openers, and here, I'll show you some other ones. I had to do this one right here. You see the new bolts, got it even. They were so far over that the blade would be running here, the no-till coulter, and the openers were way over here. Well, you weren't even helping cut a trench for no-till. So let's see here. Where's the other ones I did? There's 4 of them, I think, that were bad. These 2 end ones right here. And I don't know, because it was on the end, they hit stuff with them, but the bolts were really hard. As you can see, put new bolts in. I had to cut them out. I had to cut everything out. They were way off, so I got them all lined up. Got them working. This one right here was the worst, I think. This one and that back one was the worst. I had to cut this, you know, cut all the bolts out, put new bolts in. You can see how far off it was. See, it was way over here. I had to move it that far. That's how far off it was, and they obviously didn't care. So got everything on there, and we want to keep these on there because I do like road cleaners. I've never used them, but watching everybody else, I do like them, the way the job they do. So, and they are floating road cleaners. They're not, you know, hydraulic downforce like the big guys got. But anyway, other than this bearing that I'm getting ready to replace, the planter is actually all going through, all done. I still can't get these. This is where the old fertilizer things, the John Deere ones that we took off and we put the bandits on. I cannot get these U-bolts to come out. My buddy from John Deere said there's a way to get them out. I got all of them out except for this one and this one over here. So I'm thinking we're gonna have to take the row off to get them out on each side. And I think before I do that, I'll take a torch and just cut them because I tried to take that row off. You got to take a whole bunch of stuff off. So I'm going to take the torch and probably just snip them, make them shorter so they'll go through. Or I'll probably snip the front here, snip them on the front up there, and then just take them out. So, but that's the row that the gauge wheel came off of. So I'm going to knock this out real quick and get back with you. But the planter is ready. That's the last thing that I know that I had to replace, that I've gone through this whole thing. Still waiting on you, John Deere. Let's get down here and get this crap done. I gotta once I get that bearing in, I'm gonna put the box in. I didn't get a chance to do that yesterday. Put the box in the tractor. That way that'll be done. And pretty much just, it's a waiting game. Let's go. I want to get this done. I want to get it done and get it set up on the computer. I'll show you the computer when I get up in there, how everything works, as far as the liquid, seed, everything else. Alright, so I'm adjusting the gauge wheels on the planter. And here's what you don't want. This is how you want them. Well, that's not how you want them. There you go. There's some dirt in there, I'm sure. But you want them to be a little tight, so they roll with the opener. This right here is way too loose. See how it just keeps on rolling and rolling and rolling? You don't want that. So I've been adjusting them up. This one right here, as you can see, it's got a huge gap. The guy, see the gaps? He must have never adjusted these things because they were rolling. A lot of them were rolling. If you turned them one time, they wouldn't stop rolling. They were just rolling free. So I've been going back and adjusting them. And I've actually got them just a fraction tight because they're gonna wear once you start planting. The pressure from the ground to actually, you know, roll them, and they'll wear down as you're planting throughout all your acres. They'll get a little worn out, but I have been readjusting them the way I like them, and I like to have a little bit of pressure so they come down slow, and a little bit of pressure on the openers. So we pretty much got the whole planter done. That's what my brother was doing yesterday. So I got this side of this row and these two rows, and she would be completely, they will all be adjusted. I don't know if anybody's ever greased it either, but I'm not gonna grease it till we get done doing all the fertilizer things. That way, you know, we're not just steady touching grease. So my brother, he's underneath the tractor. I have a leak, I think, on one of my hydraulic filters that I changed. He's pulling them off and gonna see what the problem with them are. But she is just about dialed in other than the fertilizer. So come on, John Deere. And actually John Deere has to hook all them hoses up. They actually have to come down. I don't know why it's taking them so long. They had to put a new arm on. Apparently the guy turned too sharp and bent it. So they're bringing a whole new arm to put on here. So that's gonna be fun doing this. I assume we're gonna unhook them all right here and running all of them through. That'll be a job. And then this planter hooks up different than my other planter, so I got millions of hoses. And if anybody knows, when you hook a planter up, you do not want to have to unhook it until you're done with it. So, but we're gonna have to use that tractor for spreading. So that's why I want to get the planter done while I got it hooked up. I want to get them down here and get all this done, so when I unhook it and hook up to the spreader, I can spread and then hook back up to this thing and it's all ready to go. I don't want to have to unhook, rehook, unhook, rehook. It's just a nightmare with a planter, and anybody that knows it's not fun hooking a planter up. So, good morning. So, it is Wednesday. I just walked in the shop. My brother brought the Bobcat over yesterday to move some dirt. And the side is all messed up. That's the end of this video.